The continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Warner Anderson as Matthew Swain, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, and Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson.
There is an unexpected crisis at Doctor's Hospital. Elliot Carson, shot by George Anderson, has been brought back to surgery a second time in an effort to stop a sudden hemorrhage.
He'll be all right. Oh, Allison, don't be like this. Talk to me. Say something. Say anything.
It's all been said. Allison, you have a father, but you better hurry to the hospital if you want to see him alive.
It was cruel to have to tell you at such a time, but I had no choice.
You had 18 years, any day of which would have been better than today. But you waited.
That was a mistake.
Let's not talk about it.
We have to talk about it. You have to understand.
Now, Mother? Now?
Business hasn't been this good since the World Series. One thing about a shooting pool, and always count on it to bring out the bar trade. Think Elliot Carson will make it?
I hope so.
I'll bet you do.
Ada, I didn't want all this to happen.
Not to Elliot, no. You haven't changed, Paul. You're still a mean little kid, carrying tales and trying to stir up trouble.
George Anderson didn't have a gun. I had no way of knowing.
And making excuses. You were good at that, too.
Oh, I was good at everything. Except love. I knew where to look for it, but I never seemed to find it.
I remember you always tagging after Elizabeth.
Until she pushed me away. Do you remember that? The slap, the shove. Go away, Paulie. Don't bother me.
You're a pest. No girl wants a kid brother dogging her footsteps every minute of the day.
Dogging her footsteps. Paulie, the beaten puppy with his tail still wagging, bringing a bone home to my master. Father, Elizabeth did. Elizabeth said. Elizabeth put on lipstick, went to a movie show, kissed a boy in the balcony. I'd tell him, and he'd beat me, so he could purge his anger and go on loving his daughter.
Won't do you any good to go on blaming the dead, Paul. The living are going to put the blame right on you.
Choked.
Are you all right, Miss Anderson?
Yes, Miss Clark's covering for me. I'll get right back to duty.
It's all right, as long as Miss Clark's there. This is Dr. Claire Morton, our Dr. Morton's daughter. She's home for a visit. This is Betty Anderson, one of our new nurse's aides.
Hello.
Hello. Is there any news about Mr. Carson?
He's still in surgery. Oh, dear, there goes our visit.
I think I'll stay here and drink my coffee.
I'll try and get back later.
Would you like something, Betty?
No, thanks.
This used to be my favorite room in the hospital. When I was a child, my father had duty on Saturdays. I used to come along with him. I'd try to be interested in all the things he was doing, but I had my heart set on getting him in here to buy me an ice cream.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't really listening.
That's all right. I wasn't really saying much. May I?
Of course.
You know... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not used to this side of surgery. The waiting. When you're doing the operating, there's the job itself. You don't have time to think about anything. Waiting is much harder.
Miss Choate told you about my father, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
I wish she hadn't.
Why? You don't think anyone blames you?
Mr. Carson may die.
Betty, I know what you must be going through.
Do you? Your father's Dr. Morton. Mine's a...
If you feel compassion for them, you must feel some for your father. He's as sick in his own way as any of the patients you have here.
I know that. At least a part of me does. But when I see what's happening to Mr. Carson...
You can't balance one form of suffering against another. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude.
Wait, you haven't. I envy you being able to see things so clearly.
Only some things.
I'm just so frightened. Could you stay for a while?
Well, he's come through it. We managed to stop the bleeding.
Oh, Mike, how is he?
Well, he's going to be a sick man for quite a while.
How long?
It's hard to predict. We're going to keep him in the intensive care unit.
Dr. Rossi, will he live?
I think so.
Think?
Well, it's a little early to say anything else, but yes, I think he will live. Excuse me.
Allison? We might as well go home. There's nothing we can do here.
I want to stay.
We won't be able to see Mr. Carson tonight.
Mr. Carson. Is he still just Mr. Carson?
Allison, please.
You go home. You go home to that little white house with its neat little rooms and its picture of Mr. Mackenzie.
This isn't the time to say these things to each other. I need you too much right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I sound ungrateful for all you have done. But I also know that I had a father, a real flesh and blood father, and you took him away from me. You took him away and you replaced him with a picture from the 5 and 10. If he dies, I'll never forgive you.
Come with me in the lounge.
I'm all right.
No, you're not all right. Come on. What happened?
Allison. You saw her.
Oh, she was upset. She didn't even know what she was saying.
She knew exactly what she was saying.
Connie, listen to me.
I did deprive her of her father.
Carson was in prison.
He's still her father.
Here, take some of this.
Seems your job never ends, does it, Doctor? You've been a friend to all of us.
Well, I asked to be a friend.
It's one of the nicest things that's happened to me. You must be tired.
Well, it's been a long day. It's been a long day for both of us. Why don't you get away from here for a while? Go home, get some rest.
There's something I have to do first. You know, you said one time, Mike, that life was supposed to be a forward movement. Well, you're right. And I can't just wait now for things to work themselves out. Got to do something.
Something I can help with.
Not this time. This is something I have to do alone.